Hi everybody, Carissa here with Inky Fairy Designs, and I have a special video today for Fun Stamper's Journey. I tried out for their part-time designer position a couple months ago, and while I didn't get the position, they did offer to let me come on as a guest designer for their April Kit of the Month. So that's what I'm showing you today. Their Kit of the Month is really kind of a neat thing. It's $25 and you get a stamp set, a full stamp set that is exclusive. It hasn't been released generally yet. And then you also get 4 ready to go put together cards that all you have to do is do your stamping, follow the instructions, assemble your cards, and you have 4 awesome cards ready to go. So I thought it was such a cool thing. As part of the guest designer position, we were given an option of creating exactly what comes in the kit using the idea sheets, or we could create something entirely different using the pieces in the kit, or we could just create to our heart's content something, just whatever we have in our arsenal with the stamp set. So I actually decided that I wanted to test out this kit and use all of the bits and pieces that came in with it. So I was really excited to see that the stamp had little images to color. So I'm using the paper, the cardstock that came with each kit, and or which each little set of the cards, and I'm matching them up on my Copic color chart, and that way I can take a look and match up my markers to match the cardstock that I'm going to be using on my projects. And that's something that I do all the time. So now I'm going to just do some really simple coloring. You'll see that these images are very small. They are tiny actually compared to what I am used to coloring. But you know what? It was really fun because they colored quickly and fast. And these cards, I made all 4 cards in really no time at all. I couldn't tell you exactly start to finish because I don't ever do anything start to finish. I am always doing things here and there. So, but you can see that the coloring is very simple, and I kind of switched up the coloring that I normally do. I normally color light to dark and then blend it dark to light and then do some more blending. But like I said, these images are very small, and so I decided that it would be easier if I just laid down my darker color and blended it with my lighter color and just did like a one pass over blending like that, and it came together really fast. Another reason that I did that is because I started out doing my normal coloring, light to dark, dark to light, all of that, and I am not coloring on my normal paper. So I'm using, since this is a pre-cut piece from the kit, I am stamping on paper that I'm not familiar with, and I'm coloring on paper that I'm not used to coloring on. So it soaks in the markers a little bit more, and so it was just kind of like a give and take. And so I realized that in order to color on this paper with these images and my markers, that I would need to adapt a little bit and take a simpler approach to my coloring, and that's why I went in and did my dark color and then just a light blending with my lighter color. And I only used 2 colors for each color on the images. And since the papers are the same throughout the cards, whether I was coloring the little girl image or the little boy image, I used the same colors, so that made it really simple too. So these cards were really easy to put together. Here I am looking at the idea sheet, and all I'm doing is I'm following what the instructions are telling me to do. So I cut a little notch in that yellow paper. Now I'm taking some ink from my stash, Memento ink, and I believe that is Love Letter, and stamped my sentiment on there, and now I'm attaching it to the yellow sheet. All of this is written out step by step in the idea sheets. And the idea sheets are really cool because they have pictures of the final card. So if you're like me and you're very visual, you can look at the picture and see what the final card will look like. And then you can also do some adapting. While I followed the idea sheets for the most part, I did take some design liberties just for my own preferences. So on the idea sheet for this card, it had the little banner kind of hanging off the side. Well, I like to mail my cards, and that's going to make a really awkward fit for an envelope. So I decided to tuck that in, make the banner just go flush to the edge of the card, and then cut off that excess off the other side like you saw. And so now I'm just seeing where my image is going to fit, and this is some of the twine, the Fun Stampers Journey twine that was included in the kit, and I'm using that, and I'm going to wrap it around and tie a bow. I really liked this twine. It's not as thick as some of the other twines that I have, and I don't know what it's made out of, but it kind of has a hole to it. So it reminded me of some of the hemp twine that I have, but I'm not sure what it's made of. I liked it. It was thin. It was easy to work with and make my bows. And you can see I like to use my tweezers to hold my pieces together while I'm making my bow. That's something that I do a lot, and it just makes it a lot easier to create your bows on your projects. So I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of my circle panel, and then this card is done. There are some little, I believe, sequin embellishments. There you can see the final card, but that took no time at all to create. So now we're going to create the second card. So I'm doing both of the cards that have the coloring on them, and then you can go to my blog and check out the other cards from the kit there at www.inkyfairydesigns.com. So that was the design sheet, and I was just showing you how each card kit comes. So it's really nice because each card is individually packed into a baggie. So all your pieces for each card are separate. You don't have to figure out which piece goes with which card. Everything is separated for you. Really easy. You can make these cards right away as soon as you get your kit. So now we're doing, again, some simple coloring. I learned from my last image that I colored. See, this is the same paper, so I'm going in and I'm just starting with the darker color, and then I blended it in with my light color, and I'm doing some light shadow, cast shadows with my V20, which I like to do on my images. And so just doing some very, very simple coloring on his hair. And I will have all of the colors listed that I used for these images on my blog as well if you're interested in those colors. Like I said, I matched them up using my chart with the cardstock, and it just made it super easy to color these images. And since they use the same colors throughout the different cards, it was really easy once I did pick out my colors to go ahead and color both of these images very similarly. Very, I don't know, I'm getting tongue-tied. But anyway, you can see I'm using the same colors throughout. And just using some blue on this little puddle of water that he's standing in. And then I fussy cut him out. So now we're going to go ahead and assemble this card. And again, very easy to do. All of the instructions, everything is clearly step by step. And if you're like me, I don't tend to read directions, so I kind of messed up in a couple areas, but you can't even tell. So I apologize for the angle of the camera here. If I would have shut this card once I wrapped that twine, I would have had a better, you would have been able to see better what I was doing here, but you can kind of see what's going on. So the part where I messed up here was I didn't realize that it said to stamp like one of the little clouds. So there I'm doing it after I had already adhered it to the front, but no biggie, it still worked. And now I'm adding some foam dots to the little image, and I'm popping him up on top of that cute little sentiment. And then I'm going to add some of the sequins that came in the kit. And again, this card is done. I mean, probably coloring and everything included, it didn't take me maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I don't know. So there's the finished card, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Here's some pictures of the other cards that I created as well in the kit. Definitely go check them out and give this a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos.